This is Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we need to discuss all of the news that broke tonight about what is going to happen in Super Bowl 60. Both the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks got a bunch of news. We're going to start in New England with our opponents on today's video and dive into the big injury news that everyone is talking about, and that, of course, is Drake Maye and his shoulder injury. Maye ended up addressing the media today, so we're going to dive into all of his comments and what could that possibly mean. Terrell Williams is going to return to the sideline for Super Bowl 60 for the New England Patriots. I'm going to let you know who Williams is and why I actually am very excited for the Patriots and for Williams. It's a very good and exciting, heartwarming story, I believe, for Williams to be in a good enough position to be able to go and travel with the team. Then we're going to dive into the latest Seahawks injury report. Stayed late at the office to make sure that we got this in on the video for you. And then we're going to talk about the uniforms that were announced and, well, shoot, are they a good sign for the Seahawks? Are they a good sign for the Patriots? We'll get into all of that in today's video. Before we do, I got to show off my Mob Mentality t-shirt. This thing is so freaking sweet. It's super comfy. Right now, it's cold in the Chat Sports studio, so it's helping me stay a little bit warm. We got the black. We've got the navy. It is the talk of the town. The people who've come in and grabbed it, man, it just looks so freaking sweet. You got the head honcho right there in the middle. Couple of superstars all around them, and it's affordable, $34.99, chatsports.com/mob shirt. We're going to have that link in the comment section and description of today's video. Drake Maye has finally decided to go out and address his shoulder injury. Kind of stayed away from the media the last couple of days. Vrabel talking a little bit about what was going on with him, really didn't give any insight into what was happening. And Maye said, hey, I'm sore, but I'll be okay. Finally, we really get him in front of the media, and Mark Daniels, fantastic reporter on the Patriots, had a couple of tweets that he fired out today. Drake Maye says he's trying to get close to 100% with his shoulder. He ended up throwing a little bit in today's practice. During the media availability, none of the media saw Drake Maye actually throw the football, but it is important to note that Maye wasn't just kind of taking it super easy. He did at least get that arm juiced up. When he was asked, are you surprised about all the talk around his shoulder? Maye had this to say, I wouldn't say surprised. It's the right shoulder of a quarterback on a Super Bowl team. That's a pretty good perspective, I think, for Maye. Obviously, we here on Seahawks Today have been diving into all of the issues and injury news around it, so it could be something important that if we're talking about here, everybody's talking about, and it's definitely something that Maye has kept an eye on, but also at the same time, he's not going to get too worked up over it. Maye had this also to say on his shoulder injury. I'm just trying to do whatever I can to get back to 100%. I think a lot of people in that locker room would say the same thing. Having a 2-week break is nice to rest a little more and get to know the Seahawks as good as I can. Maye is saying all the correct things here, right? Maye is not pretending to beat around the bush. Hey, I'm dealing with something, but I feel pretty good and feel pretty confident about it. If you're a New England Patriots fan, you got to feel more confident. And if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan like I am, I think we're all kind of thinking the same thing, which is, yeah, I kind of expected this. I expected Drake Maye to kind of slough it off. There wasn't a big hit. There wasn't a big news story that dropped afterwards. It was Pro Football Doc on Twitter just saying, hey, I don't think he looks 100% correct. Maye basically admits that he doesn't look 100% correct and isn't 100% correct, but it's not going to affect him too much in the Super Bowl. Seahawks are going to have to do a good job of getting after the passer in this one, I think, if they're going to drum up any big hits on Maye, or if they're going to be able to kind of make him feel some extra soreness on that shoulder. And don't kid yourself. Of course, the Seahawks are definitely going to want to make sure that they get after their opposing quarterback. Sacks are always good for the Seahawks. Let me know down below in the comment section, how do you expect Seattle to attack this Patriots offense? How do you think the defense is going to be schemed up by the coaches, Mike McDonald and Aiden Dirty? And then how do you think the Seahawks are going to play against that Patriots I do think it is important to note with the defense. I wouldn't be shocked if you see a few more blitzes. We might get into that more a little bit later on this week. Now, those of you who do not know, originally the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots was a man by the name of Terrell Williams. Williams was originally going to call the plays. in New England. Obviously, he had had some success as a position coach out in Detroit. Now, there is something important to know about Williams. He ended up getting diagnosed with prostate cancer, and so he actually had to leave the Patriots. And so he really has not been with the team too much as he's going through his cancer treatments. Obviously, there's a communication process with that team, but it is important to note that Williams will be at Super Bowl 60. Mike Vrabel had this to say on Williams. He's doing good. He's excited about traveling with us. I appreciate you asking. He's doing well, so we're excited about having him. I just think this is a very cool story because you have a man who came in and was getting a promotion, getting to be a defensive coordinator, getting ready to call plays coming into this year, and being really ready to kind of lead a defense. And unfortunately for him, he gets diagnosed with an awful prostate cancer diagnosis. And that led to the defense then being called by Zach Kerr. Again, Patriots defense has been very good this year, and Williams still has his fingerprints all over this unit. And I'm, at the end of the day, just so happy for Terrell Williams, for his family, for the Patriots, for a lot of the players, for a lot of the coaching staff. Because at the end of the day, while the Patriots are the Seahawks opponent, the fact that they have a coach who is going through something so scary and dealing with a diagnosis like cancer, the fact that he's out and going to be able to be on the field and he's going to be at the Super Bowl and he's going to be there with the team, I think that is immensely positive. At the end of the day, while yes, we do want to win this football game, we do care about the other people on the other side and them being healthy. So the fact that Williams is going to be at that game and in a position where he can be on the sidelines or potentially be on the sidelines for the Patriots, I do think is really stinking cool. And I want to make sure that I mention that in a video at some point this week. We're going to dive into the latest injury news around the Seattle Seahawks here in a moment. Another injury report came out. They actually were at practice today, so we can kind of break down and go through more of the injury report from a more than speculative perspective, right? They actually did get out on the field today, the Seahawks. It wasn't like yesterday where it was like, that guy might practice, that guy might not practice. We're actually going to dive into the real news. But before we do that, I need to let you know about my good friends over at Rocket Money because I got this really sweet vacation that I've got planned, and I need a budget to help myself be able to do all the fun things I want to do on that vacation. Thank goodness I found Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money is helping me track my subscriptions. We found out I was actually double paying for a couple of streaming services. We took that money after canceling those subscriptions. Rocket Money helped me do so and set that extra money aside in my budgets for that vacation. Then what Rocket Money has helped me do as well is set spending goals each month. Because Rocket Money is helping me set those spending goals each month, I've been able to actually save a little bit extra, a little bit extra, a little bit extra. Now that extra money that I have been saving, it is going into my travel budget. So I'm going to be able to not only do all the things that I wanted to do, but I'm going to be able to actually do a lot of extra things that I didn't necessarily think was going to be possible. And that's all thanks to Rocket Money helping me out. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. That's rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. rocketmoney.com/SeahawksChat. Here is the injury report for the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday. Obviously, you're noticing a couple of guys in some big, bold did not participate in practice for the Seahawks, which is a bit worrisome. Those are guys in Cross and in Eric Salbert, who were supposed to be limited participants, ended up not being able to go. It is still pretty early, so I don't know that I totally want to freak out yet. It's also important to note that Ernest Jones went from a did not participate into a limited participation. First, I want to dive a little bit deeper into Charles Cross's injury. You are going to see him pop up the rest of this week and next week on the injury report. Don't be shocked if there are multiple times that you see him not participate in practice. I kind of expected this to happen. There's no reason for Charles Cross to go out and do anything right now. Now, at the end of next week, I would like to see him on the practice report, probably on Thursday, potentially on Friday as well. I want to see him moving and running around because that's right before we play, right? Charles Cross needs to make sure that he's at least getting the juices flowing as close as he possibly can to the game. But right now, just rest, big fella. Make sure that you're ready to go when the time is called upon you. Ernest Jones was a bit of a big scare yesterday, having popped up on the injury report, not practicing at all because of that chest injury. It is good to see that he was a limited participant, and I do feel like I can take a big exhale because it felt like Jones's injury came out of nowhere. Now, an injury like that kind of coming out of nowhere, probably I should not have freaked out as much as I did because, of course, it wasn't out of nowhere. The coaching staff knew, Ernest Jones knew, so I probably could have been able to deduce a little bit easier that, hey, this is something that they're going to sit him out for today, but expect him to be ready to go and playing the entire way for the Seahawks. I am excited that Jones is clearly on the mend and is going to be in a very good position to play. Are you concerned with the Seahawks injury report? Let me know down below in the comment section, yes or no. Make sure that you get your opinion heard. Don't just listen to what I have to say. Make sure that you voice your own opinion because I do like to listen and I do like to figure out where a lot of the 12s are kind of coming from. Are the 12s a big worry factor right now? Are they worried a lot about what's going on? Or do they feel pretty confident? Last thing that we got to talk about is the uniform matchup because that got announced today. Although it feels like it was the worst kept secret on both sides. Both teams clearly had an agenda that they wanted to use and go through with what uniform that they were wearing. And the very first one that we have to look at is the Patriots, and they are going in the all whites. They have kind of this moniker of Road Warriors this season, so it makes sense. Plus, it's kind of a nod back to other Super Bowls that the Patriots have been in. Now, it is kind of a funny stat and a funny thing to look at when you look at how the Patriots have done in the white uniforms. Now, they've never gone all white. This is the first time they've gone white from head to toe, but the Patriots have gone white before on the uppers, right? Well, in those Super Bowls, the Patriots are 4-2, including a victory, unfortunately, over our Seattle Seahawks. So it makes sense why they'd kind of lean into, hey, we've had a lot of success. We're not superstitious, but we are a little stitious when it comes to what uniforms we are wearing in New England. When you look at what we, the Seattle Seahawks, are wearing, it is the all navies, and I do appreciate that. The Seahawks have been absolutely fantastic in the home uniforms, and even though they are the road team in this Super Bowl, it is very clear with the Patriots choosing the white uniforms that Seattle could go with the navies. We don't lose in the navies. Producer Searle said a very mean thing to me right before we came on air. In fact, I have banished him into not being able to speak for the rest of this video today, where he said that the Seahawks actually lost to the Patriots in the navies, which is correct, Producer Searle. But today, Producer Searle, I am talking about the Seahawks in the all navies this season and this postseason. And to get into the Super Bowl, guess what you can't lose in? You can't lose in any uniform because you get knocked out. Just ask the Rams and the 49ers. In fact, you can go and knock on the door of some of the 49er fans because, well, we'll be in San Francisco playing in the Super Bowl. We do not lose in the navies in 2026. I'm fired up. It is a big deal for the Seahawks to be able to go with their main home uniforms because, well, again, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. And I do think that that is a good sign for Seattle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Felt like I was running around all at the very end of the workday just to get all of this information out to you as best that I can. And since I'm working my butt off here, make sure you go and hit that sub button. We just crossed over 83K. We're trying to take this thing to the frickin' moon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all next time.